Today we're thrifting. Let's go find all the great deals. We have to go check the front of my store because that's where they put all the best home decor. So I have to be a little bit careful at my thrift store because although they have some cool stuff at the front, it's usually really overpriced. You're better to find like good finds in the back. For example, this wood bowl, super adorable, but they want $24 for it. So I think that's a little bit much for a thrift store. Also, this book over here by Patina Farms. How adorable is this book? Like, I love this, but $10 for a book, like that's just a little bit too much for a thrift store coffee table book. I also love this vase. It looks like it's for wine. That's $9. Also, you guys, what is this? I think this is super cool. This little piece right here, but I'm not sure what it is. Again, really expensive, $18. So many good things over here on this shelf. This caught my eye when I was walking up. This little basket, I love using these. Not only are they functional, you can store things in your office, but they also look great sitting out. So I'd rather get this than just a regular bin that you could get at Walmart or Dollar Tree. I always seem to have too much sitting out on my desk, so I thought this would be great to organize all of my office supplies that are usually just sitting out here. I'm gonna set it over here by this touch lamp that I have. This is from Walmart. It's still out right now if you're interested in it. And I'm just gonna put in all of the items that I tend to reach for. I also really wanted to look at these, you guys. This little collection is so cute. You have a whole line here. Now it's $22 and maybe it's worth it, but that's a little pricey. These little bunny plates, so adorable, $4. This is from Pier 1 Imports, so I definitely want to get one of these. This is perfect for styling this time of year. This is such a cool vase. I love that it's black and opaque. If these were the colors in your home, it would look great sitting out on your shelf. Let's see what else. Oh, these are cool too. Love those. All right, let's see what we can find in the brass section here. Lots of cool vases. Oh, this is pretty cool. This little swan right here. This is $12. It's pretty heavy. I definitely think this would look high end. This swan needed to be cleaned a little bit, so I'm gonna be using Brasso. To apply this, you wanna wear gloves, and then you're going to use a sponge. So I put a little bit of the Brasso on the sponge. You're gonna wipe it all over the swan. This is really going to help to shine it up. Now, if you have any excess product, you can use a paper towel to wipe it off. Now, there's so many things that you could put inside of here. I'm gonna be adding in some succulents that I had at my house, and I'll just place those inside. I'm so excited to share today's sponsor, Nutrafol, because this has truly made a difference in my hair. Last summer, Nutrafol reached out and asked if I'd be interested in sharing their products. But I told them that I needed to try it first, like really try it before I would recommend them to anyone. The truth is, as I've gotten older, I've noticed my hair thinning. You may not realize this, but I wear a layer of extensions to add volume to the bottom of my hair. So I was excited to try a product that could actually help with my hair growth. I've been using the product since the summer, so fast forward 9 months, and I can honestly say that I'm seeing real results. The last time I went to my hairstylist, even she was shocked by how much new hair I had growing in. We even took a video while I was there to show all the new baby hairs I have growing in. I'm so excited to see how much new hair growth I will have over time. My goal is that I won't even need to have my extensions for volume. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand. They are trusted by over 1.5 million people. You can see thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. Nutrafol has several different formulas that are tailored to give your hair exactly what it needs throughout the different stages of your life, like postpartum or menopause, as well as for different lifestyles such as a plant-based diet. I am currently taking the hair growth nutraceutical every day. Physician formulated with 100% drug-free ingredients, Nutrafol supplements support visibly thicker and stronger hair from within by targeting the root causes of hair thinning, including stress, hormones, aging, nutrition, lifestyle, and metabolism. Now, if you're interested, you can purchase online, no prescription required. Automated deliveries and free shipping keep you on track. Plus, with a Nutrafol subscription, you can save up to 20%. You'll have access to free naturopathic doctor consults. And a Headspace meditation membership is included. Right now, Nutrafol is offering $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you click the link in the video description and enter my promo code LizDIY. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair by ordering today. Be sure to use my code to support my channel. Again, click the link in the video description and use my code LizDIY. Don't forget to look for home decor at the front of your store. A lot of times they put out some really good items. Now I'm looking at this whole shelf here. This caught my eye. I love the scallop detail. It's really popular right now. It's already in a great gold colors. I could paint this if I wanted to, but it's really ready to go. Let me show you how to use this in your home. I cleaned up the bowl. I'm just gonna add in some lemons and style it in the center of my table. So if you're in the Kansas City area, the store I go to is called Blessings Abound. It's over in Overland Park, Kansas, but this is our furniture section and they always have artwork on the back wall. So I always stop in, look and see if there's anything that may work in my home or maybe something I could update. Now there's some back here too. Make sure you check those for the wall art. If you're looking for a unique furniture piece, you definitely want to shop at the thrift store. Let's see what they have today. Okay, talk about unique. So this to me looks like a plant stand. It has where you can kind of move these shelves from side to side to display all of your different plants. This is a divider screen. It's only $24. I love that the panels here are flat, so you could definitely update this. Maybe I could see like painting this, putting a little bit of peel and stick wallpaper on these panels. It would be adorable. How cool is this record cabinet, you guys? It's so unique. It's got this nice drawer right here, some really great shelves inside. This would be a perfect cabinet if you needed something by like a front entryway or maybe to store your jewelry. Someone bought this desk. I'm not sure how much it is, but it's really cool. So I just spotted this coffee table, and in my front room, I've been wanting a coffee table or like a skinny bench that will fit in the middle of the room. And I think this one might work. It might be a little wide, but the price on it is only $29. So I feel like it's worth getting, cleaning up, and seeing if it'll work in that room. This coffee table has a flat top, which is going to make it really easy to DIY. Now I wanted to go with a similar color that it was, but it had a lot of wear and tear. It had some burn marks on it. So I knew the best thing to do was to use my orbital sander to sand down the top of this coffee table. It was pretty easy because it was nice and flat, but I'm only going to be sanding down the top layer. Once you're done sanding, get a wet rag. You're gonna wipe off all the sanding dust with your rag. Let it dry completely, then you're going to stain it. Now, I wanted it to be a dark color, so I'm gonna be using the color Early American. I'm gonna start by staining the legs. Now, I did not sand these, but I am going to stain. And since it's the same color, it's going to fill in where there's any flaws. I'm gonna put the stain on with a brush. If I have any excess, I can remove that with a paper towel. Once I get the legs stained, I'm gonna move on to the top. So I'm gonna be staining the top, brushing it on, wiping off any excess. And I'll do the same to the sides. I'm only gonna be doing one coat of stain. I was happy with the way it looked. I let it dry and then I brought it inside. I feel like this fits so well in my room. It's a nice long coffee table. It really fits perfectly with these chairs. Now, sometimes it can be a little tricky to style a long coffee table like this. I think the key is to not feel like you have to put too much on your coffee table. You also want to put things that are a little bit lower, because if you're sitting here having conversation, you don't want to be looking over some big flowers or plants. So what I like to do is start with a base layer. So this could either be a tray, or in our case, it's going to be thrifted books. These are books that I got at my local thrift store. I usually get them in these hardbacks. I love getting blues, navies, blacks, neutral colors, and greens. These I bought probably a few years ago, but I'm going to start by putting those down on one end. These are going to create a good base for me. Next, I think you need to add some kind of planter with a flower. You could also just do a couple of vases as well. I'm gonna be adding this terracotta planter. This is from Walmart. It's out right now. It's in this really cool shape. I love it. This is an air plant that I've had from Hobby Lobby for years, and I'm just gonna place that on top. Okay, so let's think about the rule of threes. So with my grouping over here, this really only is one item. I need to add a couple of more. So I have these. These are, again, thrifted, really hard, nice candle holders. I'm gonna add those to my grouping. Now this is looking great. I love this grouping, but everything is over here. So we need something on this side to balance it out. But we want something that's not gonna be this huge, massive grouping like we have over here. So this is a DIY that I recently did. This is a $1.25 leaf plate, you guys. So affordable. It comes in a white color, but I spray painted it gold, and then I added a little bit of gold rub and buff around the edge. You could do the same thing, so inexpensive. But if I add this leaf tray by itself on this end, it adds a little bit of interest and it brings the eye over here a little bit and helps to balance out our grouping. And here's how it turned out. If you really want to save some money by buying your home decor at the thrift store, but you're not sure exactly what to pick up, one of my tips is to think about popular home decor and what styles you see at Pottery Barn or Anthropologie, some of those big stores. Right now, the fluted detail is such a big trend. So I was looking at this vase section right here, and I spotted these, you guys. These are two different vases. They have a great fluted detail. How gorgeous are these? And the best part is they come in two different sizes. So these would look great sitting together on a side table. You could put flowers in them, or you could leave them just like this. Another great option would be to spray paint these and have like a colorful vase. One of the things I wanted to make here, so I bought some foam peeps on Amazon that I really wanted to put in a glass vase. I found this one. I don't know if it's gonna work. I think it might, but I'm gonna get this. I'm also going to pick up this little glass candle holder. It's only $1 because I think that's gonna help me support this in the middle. So let's put that all together. So I have a vision for this glass vase. Let's see if we can make it work. So this vase had a top piece, it had a long cylinder vase, and it had a bottom piece. I'm not even sure if these all came together, but for this DIY, I'm gonna be using the bottom piece and the clear glass. I took off all the tags and cleaned it really well. I bought these foam peeps off of Amazon. I thought they were so adorable and I wanted to use them in a spring arrangement. You guys remember that $1 candle holder I bought at the thrift store? Well, I tried putting that inside, but it really didn't help to support the peeps around the edge. So I went looking in my craft room. I ended up finding these votive holders in a pack of 2 that I bought from Dollar Tree. And I'm gonna use those to actually support the middle. So I put one in the middle, and then I put a layer of peeps around the edge. Now you could make this project work. You're just going to need 2 layers. So you need a vase and then a smaller vase or something to put in the middle. So I ended up adding in another layer of the sponge peeps around the edge, put in another layer, and added in my peeps. So eventually I wanted to add in some white tulips. These I bought off of Amazon. I will link them for you down below. So I started to kind of put the tulips in and see how this was gonna look. I added in another layer of peeps, but I didn't put any more glass votives in. Then I continued to carefully add on those layers of peeps until I could put my flowers in at the top. Now, some of them may fall into the center, so you're gonna have to be a little bit careful when you put them on. But I think this turned out adorable. Now, all of the peeps are not straight up, but I just think it looks so adorable, and it's a little bit better than using the candy peeps. Now, the one thing that my thrift store does really well is their mirrors. You can find some of the largest, best mirrors here. They do charge a little bit more. For example, this awesome mirror is priced at $39, but would you be able to get this anywhere else? No, this mirror is probably 4 feet tall. It's awesome. I love the ornate detail. It would look great on a front entryway and look so high end, and it's under $40. Let me show you some of my other favorites. Now, this gold mirror is a great one that we could update. This one's only $14. All it needs is a little bit of paint. You could paint the frame, you could rub and buff it, and this would be great hanging on your wall. I know they have some more mirrors over here. Let's see what they have. Okay, this one, you guys, this is really cool over here. Very antique. Now they want a lot for this one. They want $59. So nice. I love the curved detail to it. If you're looking for antique mirrors, they have them a lot of times at the thrift store. Let me show you this mirror that I bought the last time we were here and DIY'd.
When I was looking online, I found this circle mirror and I loved the gold antique look to it, so that's what we're gonna try to recreate. My circle mirror that I picked up at the thrift store has a perfect frame. To begin this project, I want to tape off my mirror just to protect it so I can add paint. So I'm gonna put a piece of craft paper in the middle, then I'll add painter's tape along the edge. Make sure you get really close underneath the frame whenever you're adding your painter's tape so that you don't have anything you have to clean up after you're done painting. I spray painted 2 coats of a flat black spray paint on the edge of my mirror. Adding black before you start adding in gold is a great way to richen up and give that antique look to any gold that you add to your frame. If you look closely in that Pottery Barn picture, you see a hint of green on that frame. To mimic that look, I used a little bit of a dark green spray paint and I just put it sporadically across my frame. Once the spray paint dried, I got out all of my gold rub and buff colors, and the reason I'm using multiple colors is I feel like it gives it more of an antique look when you layer different gold colors. So the first color I'm using is a copper color, and I'm just using a foam brush to add that to my mirror. Then I'm gonna go back in and remove any excess and kind of blend those colors together with a paper towel. Now you may be wondering how it's turning around. This is actually on my spray paint turntable, which really helps to work on projects. I use it inside and outside. Now, depending on how much of that black color you want to show is going to determine how much gold you put on. You can see here I have a lot of black coming through and I could leave it this way. I'm going to continue to add gold until I like the way the colors are blended. Once the paint's dry, I'm going to remove all of the painter's tape from the center part of my mirror. If you got any paint on the mirror, you can come back in and just scrape that off. And here's a look at how my Pottery Barn dupe turned out.
If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Comment the word of the day, which is thrifting. Anytime you see one of these carts out, check it out because these are the new items they're getting ready to put on the shelves. You can find the best items here. Let's see what we can find. There's lots of different figurines. Now, some of them are a little pricey because we're in the pricey section of our store, but this little bird is $5. These look great in a grouping sitting out. If you have the time, I always suggest going back through and circling through the thrift store a second time because you won't believe how much good stuff you're gonna miss that you didn't see the first time through. When you're at the thrift store, don't forget to look at the lamps. There's usually so many options to choose from. Now, the key when you're picking out a lamp is to look at the shape. You wanna pick out a shape that you like, and if you're not sure what you like, go on high-end stores and look at lamps that you like, maybe on Pottery Barn's website. That's a great place to find inspiration. Pick something in a similar shape. You can always add texture to it. You can always add paint to it, but finding a good shape is important. Now, if you don't like the lampshade that comes on the lamp, you can always look at the thrift store for other options. My thrift store has a whole line of extra lampshades. Let me show you. Now, this style of lampshade is really popular right now. Just $2. You could put it on any of the lamps.
All right, Liz has been staring at this lamp for a very long time.
You guys, this is like a massive 80s lampshade, but the shape of it is so similar to a Pottery Barn style. It's made out of pottery, so I feel like the shape of this is perfect. I'm wondering if we take it a darker color, and it's got this little topper that's similar to ones that I've seen at Pottery Barn. The lampshade is like perfect except for it's gross and we need to paint it or do something to it. And to make it even better, I found 2 of these. So let's get these and try to make them into Pottery Barn lamps.
You guys, I am most excited about this lamp and I cannot wait to show you this project. It turned out so great. I love it so much. So what I decided to do was use some drywall spackling because you can see there's all these indentions. I didn't want that look. I didn't feel like that was modern. So I just added spackling to every other, like I guess, swirly line. And I wanted this rough texture because you guys know that is really in right now. Let that dry. This spackling usually dries up in a couple of hours. Then I wanted to paint it. So I'm going to be using this sample dark paint I have. I added in some black because I wanted it to be a little bit darker. And then to give me even more texture, I added in some baking soda. If you look at the Pottery Barn lamps, they are very rustic and have a lot of texture to them. And I just added black until I was happy with the color. Next, I'm just going to use a regular brush to paint this. I feel like using a brush where you can stipple it in does help so you can get into all the different areas. So I'm going to do one coat over the entire piece. Once that completely dried, I wanted to do a lighter, thin coat that would give it a little bit of dimension. So I used some of that gray, added in some white paint and water. This gave me a much lighter look. So I'm going to wipe that on, and then I decided I needed a little bit more water there, so I added in some more water to my paint. And then once I add it on, you can see I'm immediately wiping it off with my paper towel. You may be thinking like, what does that do, Liz? It just gives that subtle look and dimension. But I have to tell you, the thing I'm most excited to show you guys is how I painted this lampshade. I've never painted a lampshade before, and I don't know why I haven't because it worked out so well. So I'm gonna use a stippling brush, but honestly, you could probably use any brush. I found a white sample paint that I had. I added a little bit of water to it and mixed it up. I simply did 2 coats all over this lampshade. You can see this lampshade is dingy, it's old, it's like probably, I don't know, 40 years old, and it just needed some new life. It definitely needed 2 coats, so if you're gonna do this, do 2 coats, but this turned an old lampshade into a completely new lampshade. So if you have a lampshade at your house, try painting it. Honestly, this was so much easier than even recovering it with fabric. Now with the top piece, I'm going to paint that with the gray color, and then I'm gonna assemble my lamp back together. I don't know about you guys, but this DIY is probably my favorite. I feel like this is a great Pottery Barn dupe.
This plate section over here is one of my favorites. I always stop over here. You don't just have to use these as dinner plates. These plates are great to use in DIY. So right now, I'm kind of looking through the different options. I want to find like a really good floral plate for a DIY I have in mind. So I saw that one, it's pretty, but I'm just gonna kind of keep looking. Each of the plates at my store are priced individually. I also really like this one. Okay, this one is super pretty. I think I love the edge on this one, so I think I'm gonna get this one for my DIY. With our plates, we're gonna create gorgeous decorative hangers. The first thing you're gonna do after you remove any of the labels and clean it up is you're going to add on a plate hanger. Now, I have one that I bought off of Amazon that has been working so well. I used it in another DIY, but this is what they look like. I think they come in a pack of 4, but I'll link them for you below. So what you're gonna do with the yellow part, you're going to use your finger or a paper towel just to get that area wet, and you're going to make sure that the adhesive on the back is wet. Let it set for 3 to 7 minutes. Then you're going to place it on the back of your plate hanger exactly where you want it to hang on the wall. So I did have to move these around to make sure that I had the flowers exactly where I wanted them. Then make sure that it's holding in place. So if you have some areas that aren't sticking, just add a little bit more water underneath and then press it down. Now with these plate hangers, on the directions, it says you need to let this sit overnight before you hang those. So that's what I did, but I did flip them over to the other side and I added on 2 knobs that I had in my craft room, and I'll put a little bit of E6000 on the back and place them in the middle. Now they are ready to go. So I can hang these up and they're gonna make gorgeous hangers. I always like to check the gardening section, and because we're close to that warm time of year, my store has quite a few planters. Now there's one that I spotted. I thought this one was really pretty. It's got like a concrete finish on it. Now I could do a DIY with something like this, or you can buy it inexpensively at the thrift store. Because this planter is a little bit lower, it's kind of hard to put a lot of different plants in here. So I decided to just get some of my Dollar Tree stems. I just bought these and I got several of them. I have about 7 here. Now you can cut the stems, but what I like to do is just fold them in half, and then I'll fold them once like this, and then I'll just fold them again. The reason I do this is because a lot of times I reuse stems in crafts, or I just want to put them somewhere else in my house or in a different vase. And when you do it like this, you can always reuse them. If you cut them, you're kind of limiting what you can use these for. So I'm going to bend them one way and then one way the other way and put them into my vase. Okay, what is this? Oh my gosh, you guys, look at this basket. $59. Okay, that's a little bit expensive. I wonder where this is from. It says Bloomingville. Have you guys ever heard of Bloomingville? Memphis, Tennessee. Let us know if you guys have heard of this. I mean, it's definitely a cool basket, but a little much at $59. Check out this price. Whoa. You guys, my thrift store is awesome, especially over here in the book section. They have all these really cool antiques. I just found this little box here. It says shoe peg on it. Now it's $12, but I just think that's such a cool little decorative box. I love using books to decorate with, and they're so affordable here at the thrift store. My thrift store does a great job of breaking them down into categories. So like right here, these are all the crafting books. You can also find travel books, you can find DIY books. You may have to hunt for them a little bit more at your thrift store, but I always like to look for home decor style books to put out in my home. This one would also make such a cool little coffee table book. If you take off the jacket, it says Focus Kansas City. So this is a great subject matter because it's local to where I'm from. Just an awesome coffee table style book. Another thing I love to do is to get art-related books and use the pictures inside in my DIYs. I flipped through the book and picked out some of my favorite pictures. I also had to make sure that these pictures would actually fit into the frames that I selected. But then I started to pull the pages out and I ripped one of them, which was not good. So I went and got my box cutter and I just cut on the page so that they would come out a little bit easier and preserve more of the page. I wanted them all to be the same color, so I'm going to be using the gel stain in coffee, and I'll just wipe that onto the frames, and then I'll remove the excess with a paper towel. Whenever you use gel stain, I feel like it takes a little bit longer to dry, so I would give these a good 24 hours to dry before moving on to your next step. Then I just selected the pictures that I wanted to add in, and I put one into my 8x10 frame. I did have another one that had a nice mat, so I just added the mat to that one. And then I cut a smaller one for my smallest frame. And I think these look great in a grouping. Not to mention, I have so many other great prints that I can use from that book for future projects. We play so many board games at my house, so I always check the thrift store because I usually can pick up a board game for just a couple of dollars. They have a lot of classic games like Pictionary, or you can find new ones that maybe you haven't tried before. This is another classic one we love, this Outburst game. If you've watched any of my thrifting videos, you know I buy a ton of these baskets over here. They're usually just a couple of dollars and you can use them all over your house. Let me show you my favorite basket. I wanted to use these baskets in my makeup room, so I'm gonna print out a couple of labels. Now I used my regular label maker for this. I will link to my label maker down below, but I simply just printed skincare and makeup. This is such a great label maker. It prints labels out in just a few seconds.
And then I cut out a few pieces from that makeup bag. I wanted to create a square and cut those out. And then I'm gonna hot glue those squares to the front of my baskets. And then I'll add on the labels. I can fill these with my makeup and my skincare.
There's always so much glassware available here at the thrift store, and it's usually pretty affordable because they have a ton of it. Just like great glass plates. I love something like this little candy jar right here. This one's just $3. If you're gonna be hosting an event, come to the thrift store. You can get a cake platter for just $4. There's all these different glass platters. You don't have to spend a ton of money. I have bought one just like this at the thrift store. I painted it. It's got that cool scallop detail we were showing you guys earlier.
I'm always blown away by the cool bowls that I'm able to find at my thrift store. I absolutely love this one. So I want to mimic that color we saw in the Pottery Barn one. So I had a terracotta color, but I felt like it was a little too dark. So I'm gonna add in some white paint and mix that together. I'm gonna paint the bottom of my bowl. And then I'll flip that over and paint the inside. Now, when I paint like this on a bowl, you're definitely gonna have to do 2 coats. After I painted 2 coats, I let both of those coats dry. If you notice on the Pottery Barn bowl, it kind of has a white cast to it. So I mixed some white paint with a little bit of that terracotta, and I'm going to come in with a wet brush, and I'm just going to brush it on the edge of my bowl. And then I'm going to use my paper towel to kind of wipe off the excess. I want to give it that look of the white streaky lines. So I'll do that all over the bowl. And here's the 2 side by side.
Let me know down in the comments what was your favorite item we thrifted today. I love knowing your opinion, and make sure you subscribe because I want to see you back here, and I'll see you in our next one. Bye.